The police seized about 4,000 rounds of ammunition during an operation on the shores of White House in Westmoreland on Monday. The operation was led by members of the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch CTOC along an area taking in the Camp Hope and Sansan beaches. The police say they also seized 19 exotic animals and a quantity of uncustomed cigarettes during the operation, which began about 5 a.m. Reports are that when the CTOC team arrived at the location, two men were observed removing items from the shoreline to take further inland. They reportedly saw the police and fled, leaving behind two knitted bags containing more than 3,900 rounds of ammunition, two makeshift cages containing 10 live and 9 dead exotic parrots, along with 2 squirrels. Several other items were seized, including tools and more than 20 packs of uncustomed cigarettes. The two men involved in the operation are being sought by the police. The National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA was contacted, and their officers took the animals into their care. Superintendent of Police Victor Barrett lauded the efforts of the police, noting that the illegal importation of exotic animals can pose a significant risk to the environment. Meanwhile, anyone with information that can assist in this investigation is being urged to contact CTOC at 876-967-1389, the National Intelligence Bureau at 811, Crime Stop at 311, or the nearest police station. Controversial former PNP caretaker in central Kingston, Lawrence Rowe, has been released on bail after spending several hours in custody at the Oldman Town Police Station on Monday. Rowe is charged with assault at common law and assault occasioning bodily harm. He was offered bail in the sum of $100,000 and is represented by attorney at law John Clark. The charges stem from an incident in which Rowe originally claimed to have been threatened and physically assaulted by PNP supporters last week Monday during an altercation in central Kingston. Rowe then filed a complaint with the police that his life was threatened by a certain PNP supporter in the constituency. It turns out that that same man went to the police and reported that Rowe assaulted him during their altercation. The men are due in court on June 26. The St. Catherine North Police Zone 2 has recorded a 40% reduction in murders since the start of the year. Zone 2 includes the communities of Ewerton, Bogwalk, Linstead, and Guys Hill. The update was provided to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness by Zone Commander for the area, Deputy Superintendent Marcia Blake. DSP Blake says the decline in murders in the area is accompanied by a broader trend of reductions across all major crimes. She also noted that the division is taking an integrated approach to policing. She says all policing activities are being operationalized to ensure residents can move about in peace. Dr. Holness says the government aims to sustain the downward trend in crime while enabling growth in local economic and cultural activities. There's been a rising trend of kidnappings by criminals posing as taxi operators. That's according to station manager at the JCF's National Strategic Anti-Gang Division, Detective Inspector Paulette Winter-Crossfield.
The trend that we are seeing now is where there are taxis or persons, motorists operating motor vehicles pretending to be taxis, and then persons who are so unsuspected, not knowing that it's not a taxi, enter the vehicle and then they are held at gunpoint in the vehicle and taken to ATM, forced to give their banking information for the criminals to withdraw monies. That are the most common trend we are seeing now. I wouldn't say it's prevalent now, but it is on the rise. A few years ago, we had it where we'd consider it as prevalent, yes, but we realize it's coming back now.
Detective Inspector Winter Crossfield was speaking on the JCF's Force for Good podcast on Sunday. She noted that the division has also witnessed several instances of fake kidnappings. She says in these incidents, teenagers leave home to stay with a love interest for several days without informing their family.
We have fake kidnapping. If we speak about fake kidnapping, most of those kidnappings are done by teenagers, reported.
Fake kidnapping.
Yes, fake kidnapping, right. So you have teenagers who go out with their male friend for whatever reason, spend days, and then when they want to return home, they make contact, either them or they ask someone to make contact with family members to say that they are kidnapped and demanding money for release. So that is what we have.
That's Detective Inspector Paulette Winter Crossfield, station manager at the JCF's National Strategic Anti-Gang Division. Government Senator Abka Fitzhenley is accusing the PNP of contriving controversy over the appointment of Dennis Chung as Chief Technical Director in the Financial Investigations Division to distract from achievements of the JLP administration. Senator Fitzhenley says the PNP has one plan: to tell lies on the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness.
The PNP should cease and desist from the wanton act of intimidation, which is not only inappropriate but offends due process and sends a chilling signal to members of the public service about how they intend to conduct themselves as they seek political power. We have information as well that the PNP has been attempting to apply pressure to current office holders in key and sensitive agencies, demanding that inappropriate action be taken and seeking to interfere in the conduct of their work.
Senator Fitzhenley was addressing a media conference at the JLP's headquarters on Belmont Road in St. Andrew on Monday. He says at least one media entity which published a story suggesting Chung lacks qualifications for the top job at the FID is misleading.
What the article did not point out is that at least 5 individuals have served either in a permanent or acting capacity as Chief Technical Director of the FID, and they have had no law enforcement experience. One, an accountant; the other, a chartered accountant; another individual qualification in business administration; another individual qualification in economics; one has qualification in ICT; and another attorney at law.
Senator Abka Fitzhenley, chairman of the JLP's Communications Task Force. Unfortunate. That's how public commentator Dr. Nadine Spence has described the PNP over the appointment of Dennis Chung as the new Chief Technical Director at the FID. Dr. Spence says it sets a bad precedent for anyone who is asked to give their expert opinion on matters of national importance.
So I think if a process was followed which involves a legitimate born citizen of Jamaica or whoever that person is applying for a position, going through the process and then having been selected is appointed, I don't know how it makes sense that a political party is protesting the right of that Jamaican to be considered, evaluated, and is found suitable to be appointed to a position. I don't get what the issue is. It cannot just be because Dennis Chung said something on radio, because all of us who opine on politics at different points have different things to say about different political parties. Does it then mean that our prospects are blighted given a particular political party's ascent to government? I think it's problematic.
Chung has come under fire from opposition leader Mark Golding, who says his public utterances over the probe into the Prime Minister's statutory declarations disqualify him from the appointment. The PNP mobilized hundreds of his supporters on Monday to protest against Chung's appointment in the vicinity of the Ministry of Finance at National Heroes Circle on Monday. Immediate past president of the MSME Alliance, Donovan Wignall, says he's not shocked by the pushback from the PNP considering the current political climate.
Clear politics. This is a weak point of the Prime Minister, and the opposition is going to rinse it and milk it for as much as they can get out of it. And it has been, a serious of the Prime Minister and by extension the JLP. And the opposition is going to continue on this one because it is seen as a point of weakness, the integrity of the Prime Minister and everything that follows. So nothing that is happening here is not expected. Dennis, I think, has been, as I said before, quite successful at wherever he has been. As far as qualification is concerned, he probably couldn't manage and do the job quite well. But based on his utterances, based on the current political climate, it's going to seem as if it's a very subjective appointment.
Donovan Wignall, immediate past president of the MSME Alliance. Both himself and Dr. Spence were speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday. Opposition spokesman on finance Julian Robinson says the delivery of essential services have been compromised by corruption. He made the comment on Monday at the scene of a PNP protest at National Heroes Circle in Kingston.
So this morning I got a call from a constituent who is at KPH and she can't be admitted because no bed no dead. She can't go to the bathroom because no water no dead. So when people thief the public resources, it means the services that you must get, you can't get. So when you reach Portmore and Spanish Town at 5 o'clock in the morning and you wait 2 hours for JUTC, you wait because the money to buy more buses not there. because of corruption. When you drive on bad road and it mash up your front end, the money will fix the road not there because of corruption. When your kids go to school and them can't get a meal per day, it means it's corruption taking that from you.
Julian Robinson, he says Jamaicans must demand the revocation of Dennis Chung's appointment.
When the Prime Minister, who has been referred to the FID for illicit enrichment, which means him have assets and income him can't account for, put somebody who is him friend, who got through a corrupt process to cover up his own corruption, Jamaicans have to take a stance. Because if we allow this to go, then who next will they come for? So we are here in a peaceful, disciplined way to say time come for change. We are here to say time come for a government led by a man with clean hands and a pure heart. Time come for a government that going to put people first and that going to ensure the resources of this country will be used for the benefit of the people of this country.
Julian Robinson. Despite the PMP protest, though, Dennis Chung says he had a smooth first day on the job on Monday. He reported for duties at 8 on Monday morning. When Nationwide News contacted him at the close of business, he confirmed that his initial meetings with staff members and his briefings had gone off without any problems. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says his administration's list of achievements is such that in any other country, it would be enough to secure a third term without campaigning. He was speaking at a JLP constituency conference in West Central St. James on Sunday.
How do you tackle a government that has managed to bring down one of the most intractable problems that has faced this country for the last 50 years? The list of achievements are so great. You know, in any other country, this government with the list of achievements would not need to campaign because the achievements are so significant.
Dr. Holness highlighted the significant reduction in crime as a significant milestone since his government took office in 2016. He also highlighted the historic reduction in poverty and the macroeconomic gains being made to being used to improve the country's water and road infrastructure. He says his government is in a constant battle to remind voters of what has been accomplished.
Governments have to constantly place the achievements in front of the people, even if there are those who would want to reject them. But not only that, we have to give you hope and show you what more is to come, how better things are going to be. The opposition is going to point you to the bottom of the glass, to show you how bad things are, to say things are not getting better. In other words, there is a battle for your minds. One is going to be negative and the government is going to be positive.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. The increase in the country's national minimum wage is now in effect. The minimum wage, which took effect on June 1, now stands at $16,000 per 40-hour work week. This marks a 158% rise since 2016, when it was at $6,200. In a statement on Monday, the Office of the Prime Minister says this latest increase, which also applies to industrial security guards, is part of a broader initiative by the administration to uplift low-income earners and combat poverty. Describing the policy as a vital element of the government's national development strategy, Prime Minister Andrew Holness emphasized the significance of the move for Jamaica's working class. The announcement comes amid encouraging economic news. The Planning Institute recently reported that the national poverty rate declined from 16.7% in 2021 to 8.2% in 2023. That's the lowest since records began in 1989. Overseas news now. Far-right Dutch leader Geert Wilders has withdrawn his party from the government, bringing down the governing coalition after less than a year. The BBC says the move, which was brought on by a row over immigration, will now likely usher in snap elections. Prime Minister Dick Schoof made a last-minute appeal to coalition party leaders on Tuesday morning, but the meeting lasted just 1 minute before Wilders walked out, ending the coalition. Wilders had asked for 10 additional asylum measures, including a freeze on asylum applications, halting the construction of reception centers and limiting family reunification. There was shock and anger among political leaders, many of whom pointed out that several of Wilders' demands are similar to policies already in the coalition agreement. Many of the additional proposals put forward by Wilders had been dismissed during coalition talks because of legal concerns. Wilders' decision has put an end to an uneasy governing coalition, which was born in July 2024 after months of political wrangling following elections in 2023. That's the news.